Seahawks, far sideline, Malcolm Smith, nobody's going to touch him. Percy Harvin with the catch. He's on the run. He breaks free. Are you kidding me? Wilson fires inside. And Kurtz makes the catch. Spins out 1. Spins out 3, 10, 5. Touchdown! Seahawks! 12. They're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions.
Our next guest helped the Seattle Seahawks, as you saw there, win the Super Bowl over the Broncos. He is a Pro Bowler, now a free agent, correct?
Yes.
We are welcoming in our guest, Michael Robinson. We're putting you on the hook, actually. How is the job search coming as you are a free agent?
Well, yes, I'm a free agent, but you know, fullbacks, they're going out of style right now. So the market kind of forces you into the TV side of things. So I'm actually looking for jobs on the TV side of things, trying to change the game a little bit.
Time out. Is this an audition?
Yes.
We're putting you on the hook. This is an audition.
Hopefully
All right,
it is.
guys.
Hopefully it is.
All right. Show them how it's done, gentlemen. Show them how it's done.
I'd hire you. But I still think if you can go back to Seattle, you should. It might pay a little more.
Uh-oh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to understand the business of these things. I mean, I'm a 9-year vet. I mean, you can pay 2.5, 3 rookies.
Listen, time out. It may not pay if you get a deal like these dudes. Come on now. You live in line.
She don't know what
you want those like
which
you got a $20 million deal. You got a $30 million deal.
I took less.
Oh, you took less. Oh, for the team. So we can live. I see.
I didn't do that.
You didn't.
Commercials?
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Stephen
I'm
A.
a capitalist.
Yes, you're not taking less.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right, so let's talk about the NFC West. Expectations, darling.
Oh wow, it's a tough division. I mean, I really think the surprise of the division is going to be the St. Louis Rams. If Bradford can ever get himself together,
that's a big if.
They have weapons on offense. I've played against that front seven on defense. They are the toughest front seven in the National Football League.
What makes
the opposite? You know, the Seattle is number one, but they're really tough, man. I mean, Robert Quinn and Long on the edge. You have to keep a tight end there. You have to keep a back there to chip them. They create havoc, and they kind of dictate what schemes that you do against them.
So it will depend on that quarterback.
It
bouncing
will.
back,
I mean, it
staying
will.
healthy
The
and
offense
performing at the level he was supposed to when he got $50 million guaranteed up front.
Let me ask you this. You know, Michael, what's the belief about Bradford? I've heard Skip comment about him, but how do you guys, NFL players going against St. Louis, what do you think of Sam Bradford? Give it to me straight. Bobby Wagner was in there yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you straight,
You're trying to be in television, right?
A little soft.
I agree.
To be honest with you, he's a little soft.
I've said that on this show many times.
And I've said it even when he was coming into the league. I don't know. Maybe it was a look or his body or whatever, just a little soft. We know that we can send the dogs after him. He'll throw us the ball. We understand that if you can move him off his spot, kind of jam his receivers. The guy Austin is an awesome playmaker.
Big time.
He needs to slow the game down in his brain a little bit, though. And he'll be awesome. His career will take off.
You've hired him already? Because he's saying everything you said. He's echoing your thoughts.
He learned it all from you.
He learned it all from you. Right, Bayless?
Okay, I want to go a level deeper here with now your former team, the Seahawks. And I want to talk about the psyche of the Seahawks as they now try to defend their championship. This team is fueled, obviously, by swagger and bravado. You just feed off it. And that's a good thing. We had Bobby Wagner on yesterday. He was sensational.
Yes, he was.
Swinging it.
He was
swinging, man.
Yes.
Bobby. Swinging.
Yes, he was.
Swing.
Yes.
You know, the Broncos were afraid, and
everybody's afraid.
They always talk about he wasn't noticed before. Bobby Wagner will be noticed now.
He was so honest.
Sir.
There is a fine line between supreme confidence and dangerous overconfidence, or maybe even getting dangerously cocky and full of yourselves, okay? Are they close to crossing that fine line?
I don't think so. And I say I don't think so because I think they have a belief in their system. They have a belief in the way that they work. I mean, just go to a practice. I mean, the music is blasting. Guys are having fun. Guys are staying after practice, asking questions. They believe in the philosophy of Pete Carroll. They believe in competing. They believe in, you know, if one guy goes down, the next man's up. I mean, they just believe in it. They draft well. And I don't think it's overconfidence. I just think it's just a belief in their philosophy.
Okay, so you're picking them again to repeat, right?
Well, I'm picking them to win the West.
Okay.
I will pick them to win the West, but they do have to watch out for the St. Louis Rams.
St. Louis? What about San Francisco?
St. Louis.
Hey, what about Arizona?
St. Louis.
Really? St. Louis more so than San Francisco, Arizona?
You heard it here first, Michael Robinson, St. Louis.
I think that's insane because you can't sit there and say that definitively when you just acknowledge their quarterback soft. How are you going to do that? Which one is it? I mean,
Well,
you only
he has
can go.
the ability. He does have the ability. He just has to toughen up.
You just finished
He
saying
has to
send the
toughen up.
dogs after him.
He
You send
has
the
to
dogs
toughen
after
up.
him. He'll give you the football.
He
Which
will.
one is it, Michael?
He will. He will give you the ball. But
All right,
if
so
he
if he
toughens
gonna
up,
give you the ball.
toughens up,
Oh.
if he toughens up, he has the ability.
Let me try this.
So that team can win.
Let me
the
try
West.
this because you're wiggling,
I'm not
waffling
wiggling.
a little bit. Let me ask you this question: when you talk about toughness, is that something that you can acquire, or is it one of those things you either have it or you don't?
That's a great question.
That's right. That's right.
I think adversity. I think people challenging a man from his core. You challenge Bradford at his core. I think that can toughen a man up. I really do.
Okay, so you can change. You can change. You can
Yes,
become
you do.
tough. All right, let me transition to Jimmy Graham. What did you think about the whole issue that he had with not being labeled a tight end, trying to be labeled a wide receiver, getting his money, the whole dispute that he had with the New Orleans Saints? What was your position on that whole deal, and what is your position on Jimmy Graham personally as a player?
Well, first of all, he's one of the most dynamic players in the National Football League.
Didn't look
First
that way
of all.
against y'all, but go ahead.
Well, we had the best secondary to ever play this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
Ever?
to ever play this game.
I don't know about
let's just
that.
be honest. I mean, we shut down the number one offense that ever played this game. So,
Because they were scared to death, but go ahead.
well, but anyway, I'm sorry. I think this is just the beginning. I mean, you look at a guy like Cam Chancellor. Look at a guy like Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know if I said his name right. The Honey Badger.
Yes.
You look at those guys. Cam Chancellor in 5 or 6 years, if he loses a step, he can drop in the box, okay, and play linebacker and play another 8 or 9 years, right? Wow. And he can play on the back end. What do you call him? What do you pay him, like a linebacker or a safety? You know what I mean? I think this is just the beginning. You're going to, as offenses spread, as the defenses are going to have to put multiple defensive backs on the field, you're going to have defensive backs that can cover and tackle like linebackers.
But more to the point,
what do you pay him like?
But more to the point, Tony Gonzalez called it discrimination because he feels like, it's wrong for them to sit there and try to label him a tight end just to limit his money. What do you make of that?
I have to agree with Tony Gonzalez. I mean, I have to. I mean, these guys spend the majority, especially Jimmy Graham, they run away from him. I mean, a tight end that they run away from, I mean, I don't really consider that much of a tight end. I mean, really, he's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's 2 yards off the tackle sometimes. Really, you have to say that guy's a wide receiver.
Okay, you also wiggled just a little bit when you said a moment ago, Seattle will win the West, but you wouldn't go any farther. So I'm assuming you're going to pick somebody else to win
Super
the
Bowl.
conference, right?
Yeah. I don't
you
know.
were picking?
I don't know who's going to win the conference all the way. I don't. I just think it's a. I don't know if Seattle. I think they lost a lot, and I think they lost a lot, not necessarily talent-wise. I think talent-wise, they're still the deepest roster out there. I think coaching and the way they get their players. But you look at a guy like a Red Bryant or Chris Clemens that are out of the locker room. When you have disputes in the locker room,
And you would belong in that conversation.
I don't
right?
like to talk about myself, but in a locker room, when you have a bunch of young guys who now have new money, when there's discrepancies,
Yep.
who is the veteran in that locker room that you fall back on and say, hey, Mike Robb, what's up? Settle this for us. Who does that in the locker room? I mean, the big D tackle, Kevin Williams, I think he's in there. He could fill that void, but he's just got there. You know what I mean? You know, guys like myself, Red Bryant, Chris Clemens, we were there since the beginning. And you kind of built that trust up in the locker room. That's my only, issue is who will take over that role in the locker room. And they have great, guys. I mean, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, who was here, is a great leader.
Veteran leadership.
But veteran guys who, you can't give Richard Sherman 3 or 4 extra years on his vested, on his career. You just can't. He's still a young guy.
Okay. All right. Michael Robinson, very good. I say you're hired.
Well, listen,
I don't.
little tidbit of advice for him, Kerry. You get away with it today, we'll let you.
Uh-oh.
But if you're going to be in this business,
Oh, Lord.
you will need to talk about yourself just a little bit.
Okay. I got
Talk
you.
about how great
I
you
got
are. Don't be afraid to be
Thank you.
great.
You
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Robinson, and we also have a special guest coming out right now. We just are switching you guys. The guests keep coming. They continue to come.
The doctor!
Dr. J is in the house.
The doctor!
Judy, how are you?
Hey.
Do you know Michael?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Pleasure to
Ladies
meet
first.
you. Pleasure.
All right. My
How you
pleasure.
doing?
Cool.
All right, you guys. This is exciting. We got royalty in the house. We'll be right back.
How you doing? Oh, man. Awesome. Doing? We get out to it, brother. All right.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. All right.
My man.
You did a good job.